Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Andrew Talbot, and I'm going to walk you through how you can trade on marketplaces with Dropship and Personalised products using our Gateway custom product platform and our Gateway order management system. So, first of all, what are we going to cover off today? So, we're going to look at a few different marketplaces, and I'm going to give you an introductory guide on how you can sell personalised and on-demand products or Dropship products in the leading marketplaces. So let's start off with just defining what I mean by on-demand products. So there are three types really, and they're all possible to sell on marketplaces nowadays. That's the good news. Customized, personalized, or configurable products. Print on demand, and Dropship stock. So let's explain those in a little bit more detail. A customized or personalized product is when you add some details yourself to customize a product, so your name, upload an image, etc. So that's fairly new that you can start to sell these on marketplaces now. Print on demand products, that's kind of where the product doesn't exist. It's still a virtual product, hence on demand, but you've predefined the artwork, so when somebody orders, it can be printed. And finally, Dropship stock, which is basically stock in somebody else's warehouse. So you're selling on a marketplace, you don't have stock on it, and they dispatch it on your behalf. So those are the three different product types, and this webinar is focused on explaining how you can sell those product types, which is obviously different to when you've got products in stock. So let's first of all look at the marketplaces that we can cover off. So we're adding more all the time, but in essence, what you do is it's pretty easy to set up once you've got an account. So if we went into, let's go into there. So I've clicked the enable on Amazon, and it in essence asks us a few questions, predominantly, what's your seller ID, what's your API token, and which Amazon are you selling on? And it's kind of as simple as that. The harder bit is probably getting your Amazon seller account set up. And it's pretty much the same on all the marketplaces. There's certain information you need. You fill it in on this screen, hit save, and you're connected. That's the beauty of trading on the system. It's that simple. So we've obviously got the common ones set up: Amazon, Cdiscount in France, eBay, Etsy. Not on the high street. It's a particularly good one in the UK, where we've enabled it through their API. So again, it's nice and simple. And we're busy integrating with all of these other ones as you speak. Groupon already exists. We'll talk about that a little bit later because that's a slightly different business model. It's a redemption model. Otto being the main one in Germany, Walmart in the US, Bol being Dutch, Wayfair now being fairly global. So in essence, we're going to support more and more marketplaces each month, and they'll all be as easy to set up as the example that I showed you. So what functionality is supported? Now we're going to look at some specific examples in a minute. The thing that's supported from every marketplace on every product type is automated dropship. So the order comes into the marketplace, and then OMS grabs it and sends it to where it's going to be fulfilled. Then we've got automated print, which is, in essence, an order comes in for print on demand, and we send it to a print facility, and they print it and sell it. So it's just the same as if the product was on the shelf. It's just there's a printing process. The automated artwork generation is when you're only capturing text variables. When we grab the order, we also make the artwork for personalized products and deliver it. Automated smart link is a model we'll talk about more in a minute. It's when the marketplace doesn't support any part of photo or emailing you. To OMS and this process. And I'll explain that model a little bit more in a minute. And then you've got the little bit more laborious of manual artwork creation. Still faster using our system, but obviously if you're getting hundreds of orders a day, it's quite time consuming. So I guess just before we go into a bit more detail, we ought to take, why would you bother? Why bother trading on marketplaces? Well, there's kind of one simple thing. It varies depending on the research you see, but globally, marketplaces account for 60% of all e-commerce sales. Yep, 60%. So ultimately, the website retailer market is only 40% of the sales. Marketplaces are the biggest. And this is just a fairly startling fact that in the US, Amazon Marketplace, so that's obviously sellers on Amazon, represent 31% of total e-commerce. That's just Amazon. And obviously if you add Amazon retail, that then, moves you up to 48% Amazon only of all US e-commerce sales. So we can see why this is important. And it's obviously different in different countries. It's actually one of the points that I would say why I would bother is obviously it represents a large percentage of the market, but it also represents a great opportunity for global expansion. A company based in one country can easily sell in other countries. And with our Dropship network, we obviously make that easier. So you don't have to be based there or have production or warehousing facilities there. And we've also got, obviously, the carrier deals we can now get with things like DHL, Global Mail, where you can send things between countries for a few pounds. So it's really becoming a global market, and marketplaces make that easier. They also, to be honest, represent a higher margin opportunity. Most retailers selling a product will want around 50% margin. On a marketplace, it's 20% or less in many cases. So it's the biggest market, it enables you to expand globally, and it's a higher margin opportunity. So I think you're mad not to look at it, really. I mean, obviously there will be different strategies that mean you shouldn't. So let's have a look. It starts with a marketplace feed. So I think the best thing to do is go into our custom product platform, and you can search whether they're your own products or the virtual product warehouse, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you, in essence, select the products that you want to do, hit feeds, and it, in essence, generates the feed. So this one's set up to look at sort of Amazon and eBay. Obviously, there are other feeds available. Generic retail, and it's got a few sort of web shops on there too. But you then hit your Amazon Marketplace button, and it will create the data in exactly the right format for Amazon. We'll talk about Amazon Custom in a minute, but if it's the Amazon Custom service, it'll create the data in the right format for that. If it's the eBay service, it'll create the data in the right format for that. So in essence, the starting point is always that it'll create a data feed in the right format to upload straight to the marketplace. There's probably more in-depth webinars, and any of our team can talk to you about searching for product in a bit more detail. So once you've created your marketplace feed, we use something called a smart code to automate. So what the smart code does, and as it says here, it's server-side processing, because in most cases you can't put our smart links on a marketplace. Although there is developments coming along, which I can't tell you about today, but several of the marketplaces will soon be featuring our smart links so you can do live preview on the marketplace. But for now, you either have to cope with their inbuilt technology or text or the other methods that we've discussed. So the way a smart code works is when Gateway OMS collects the order, it can look at the SKU and identify who is drop shipping that product for you, so send the order to them. It can also use a print-on-demand reference, so if you've set up a load of your own designs, uploaded them into a marketplace, it can automatically send the artwork to the person printing and dispatching for you. And it can also grab the text from kind of anywhere, normally a custom text box or even from the gift message, and then generate the artwork for you. So that's how a smart code works. There's no change to the front end on the marketplace. It's all done in the back end. And I guess I can show you that in a little bit more detail. Let's go on to there. So here are some orders that have been automatically collected from Amazon. And if I go into those orders, I can see here they're for a football mug. But if I go and look at that there, it shows me that those are the two text fields that it's created from Amazon, and the system then has automatically created the artwork, because when we've set it up, we've said these are mapped to the fields. So that artwork is then already created and sent to either your own printer or wherever you're fulfilling. So the concept is quite strong. You know, there's no manual work involved at all. Everything is automated. And for those of you that have ever run an Amazon or a marketplace shop with any element of personalization, you know, particularly at Christmas, you can just spend all day long creating artwork and transferring text. And occasionally it does go wrong too. And this is obviously a foolproof system. So that's the kind of power of a smart code. And obviously the same principle, stock is easier. You may decide, and we'll go and talk about stock a bit more in a minute. So I wanted to also show you a couple of selling options. So Amazon are really the only ones at the moment that have got a decent online preview. Although I think our technology will soon equalize the game. But if we had a look at this particular product on Amazon, it's an eBay one. Let's find there. There we are. So on Amazon, you can see they've got a button instead of buy now called customize now. And actually they have got a fairly primitive preview, but because you have to set those up manually and our import does it automatically, we don't worry about setting up the preview on Amazon. You can go into the product and set up a live preview. It's not as strong as the custom Gateway Smart Link, but it's obviously better than others have got at the moment. But all we do is we've set this up automatically. So, on that example we just saw, I just type in the text and then our system would automatically create the artwork. So that's a completely automated personalization system. And we've just used a placeholder image in terms of that. I was going to give you a couple of other examples. This was the same product on Etsy. And this does move fast because I notice Etsy have now introduced text fields where you can capture the individual personalization. But historically, they haven't been able to do that. So we've used the gift message feature in the Etsy checkout. So when you check out, there's a gift message. And if people had typed their name in there, we would automatically grab that and create the artwork. The problem, obviously, with the gift message approach, if like on this product, there were 2 personalization fields and people put them in different formats, it is harder to do. So that's when the manual creation comes in. There's still an element of cutter pasting in the back end. But now Etsy have done what Not on the High Street have already got, when you can capture the personalization in individual fields. And as you saw from the Amazon example, when you can capture the personalization in individual fields, then we can print it or we can create the artwork and give you a totally automated system. And then the final one was the eBay option. At the moment, this is live in eBay Germany. And what this does at the moment is you just order the product as normal, don't capture any information, and it sends you an email later with the personalization widget in. And when people fill that in, we've done some clever coding, so that then goes back into Gateway OMS and creates the artwork. So it's another way of automating. Obviously, it's an extra step, but it means then that the marketplace doesn't have to do any work on the front end. So moving on, you've kind of already seen the OMS system where I showed you it. I guess I'll just briefly run through the process again. Orders are auto-downloaded and routed to the correct supplier. The text fields are grabbed and processed to create the artwork. This is quite a useful feature. If any information is missing to do the personalization, it turns the order red or puts it on hold and gives you them all in one place. Because part of the problem on marketplaces sometimes is people don't put personalization and you have to wait for them to send it to you. So this is a way of managing that. Those of you that have done this will know well what I mean and how this can be a real time saver. What's also interesting, when we route the orders, we also send people custom paperwork, and we also tell the marketplace when the order's dispatched. So there literally is no manual work for you to do. If you want your brand to be preserved, we'll give the person dispatching it for you your paperwork, and you don't have to log back into the marketplace. And we'll talk about it slightly later, but we've even got reporting so you can make sure your partners are helping fulfill your promises, because we all know Amazon reviews are key. Not in the high street, you have promises. You all have promises, and ultimately, if you don't keep them, you lose business. One of the other things, we've got plenty of extra documentation on this, but we've got what you call the virtual product warehouse. And what this does is obviously when you've got your feeds like this, we can also give you products, and we've got hundreds of thousands of products that you can actually sell on Amazon. Not all of them are allowed to be sold on, I say Amazon, any marketplace. Not all of them can be sold on all marketplaces, but there are many, many thousands that you can download. So if you haven't got enough products to sell, or just want, to sell football or, entertainment licenses, then we can also give you products by searching the virtual product warehouse and clicking the feed button as well. So moving on. This was designed. We also work with a few marketplace aggregators and are likely to work with more. So these are people that connect to hundreds of marketplaces. And they specialize really only in the SOC model. But obviously by putting Gateway OMS in the equation, that then manages dropship through multiple sites and allows personalized and print on demand to be done too. So if you're using any of these platforms, we can also integrate with these platforms. Our objective, as always, is to make transactions flow. So, in summary, your automated business, this is obviously a very whistle-stop tour. And if you have a particular marketplace you're interested in or just want to go through this in more detail, then our team will always be there to help. So you can auto-upload products, auto-download orders, auto-create artwork and dispatch notes, auto-route the orders to a nominated supplier or warehouse or print machine, auto-update the auto status in the marketplace, manage and review the status to correct your complying via auto-report, so you can get a report each morning that tells you if you've got any potential problems from your supply base, and auto-check supplier invoices, because obviously, hopefully, you're doing lots of this, so you want to reduce admin. So this is your automated marketplace business. And I do remind you, 60% of the global e-commerce trade. So hopefully that's whet your appetite and explained how we can help you. If you go on our website, Custom Gateway, you go on the software platform section, you'll see Sell on Marketplaces, where we're updating marketplaces. If you subscribe to our blog, we'll tell you every time we add a new one. We're adding a few a month at the moment. And as always, we're always keen to talk. I hope you found it a useful and informative webinar.